Okay. Everyone, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I would like everyone to rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, just a couple of quick announcements here. We do plan to have an executive session after this meeting. No decisions will be made, but it will be in regards to legal and real estate. A couple of other notes here to tell you about. So on our last meeting, I mentioned the Sustainability Summit, which we were having on the 13th of September. Well, that came and went, and we did not actually have it. There was an emergency that came up, so we couldn't make that happen. The new date for that is October 15th on a Wednesday between 6 and 8 o'clock. And that's actually going to be in place of the Sustainability Committee's meeting. So if anyone would like to join, it is welcome to all. It's open to all. And one more note I want to make too. We actually did get a completed 2024 audit, which has been posted on our website for at least the last week or so. We aren't actually publicly accepting that, but we do want to make sure everyone realizes it is up there, and you're welcome to ask questions about it at the end under non-agenda items, or at another time as you wish. You can always call the manager and ask more questions about it. So I just wanted to get that out there. And again, we are recording as we do every meeting for rebroadcast. So we do have quite a few reports that are all on the website too. We have the police report, and Sergeant Russell is here to come and discuss that for the police. We have the fire company, EMS, finance department, public works department, building and zoning department, and the library also has something on there as well, which is very interesting. So we'll start with Sergeant Russell.
Hello, I have the August 2025 Westminster Township police report for training and FBI National Academy Associates. We had 139 calls from service, 4 crimes investigated, 0 arrests, 19 traffic stops, and 15 accidents investigated.
Thank you very much. Does anyone from the fire company want to speak tonight? Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Kimes.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Jeff Kimes, Deputy Chief from Locust Corner. Our August report for the month here. For Westminster Township, we had a total of 19 calls. 6 of those were automatic alarm. We had 1 gas leak inside, and we had 12 calls that were medical in nature. We had 23 calls in Upper Euclid. We had 8 calls in East Nashville Township, and we had 2 calls for mutual aid. Our total calls for the entire month were 52. Our time in service was 27 hours and 42 minutes, and our total man hours was 108 hours and 16 minutes. We averaged 6 firefighters for fire calls, and we averaged 2 first responders for medical ones.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Janet, did you want to come up? Introduce yourself. I learned a lot from your report. I'm embarrassed to say. I just think I would know some of this. Great.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Sick. I'm the director of the Chester County Library in the Henrietta Hinckley branch. And so I just wanted to share some statistics tonight about the library. I also wanted to start by thanking the board for their continuing financial support of the Henrietta Hinckley Library. It's very much appreciated and helps us provide the services we provide. So Westminster Township, from January to July, 2,839 card holders, which is about 41% of the township's population with library cards. So that's awesome. Great job. And that's 28,885 checkouts of physical materials, which based on a cost savings is about $512,000 this year for residents who've used the library. We also have, as you know, our Overdrive, aka Libby, our ebooks and e-audiobooks. And this is for the whole Chester County and Henrietta Hinken patrons, not just West Vincent Township, but 242,000 checkouts between ebooks and e-audiobooks. And a comparable cost to use commercial services. So for instance, Kindle Unlimited would be over $989,000. And Audible would be over $1 million for that number of residents to use paid services. So that's another great savings for residents that the library provides. And then also our Museum Pass program. Again, this is all Chester County Library and Henrietta Hinken patrons. 3,819 checkouts to area museums, which is average admission savings of $197,000. So, and we just added at both libraries Brandywine Zoo passes. So we have 2 new passes. So just wanted to share those statistics. And then I just wanted to mention a couple new services we have at the library. This first one is specifically at Chester County Library. It's our Library of Things. And this is a collection in 7 categories relating to hobbies, productivity, media players, travel, content creation, DIY, and crafts. And there are 55 items that you can borrow for free. There are things like a telescope, metal detectors, adult and children, scanner, video to digital converter, Nintendo Switch Lite, a GoPro camera, sewing machine, and a Cricut machine. So these are all things that are free to borrow with your library card. As I mentioned, they're right now just the Chester County Library, but if you come down and visit our multimedia department, you can have access to those. One service we're really excited about that we just started offering thanks to a grant from the Justamere Foundation is LinkedIn Learning. And this is a service with 22,000 training videos on business technology creative skills. So it's things like you need to learn about Excel, AI, various computer languages. They're all right there. You can just register your library card. You can sign up for a particular skill and it'll let you all know all the related videos. You can take sessions, you can take quizzes, and you can get a lot of information. It's almost overwhelming how many videos are here. And I know a lot of businesses may have offered these before and cut back. So now you can access them at the library. And again, you just need your library card. And then finally, Libby magazines. If you use Libby for ebooks, we now have magazines in the app, and these are great. There are a lot of popular magazines. There's a lot of the type of magazines you're tempted to buy when you're in the grocery store, but you say, oh no, I'm not going to spend the money. You can find those in Libby. And you can subscribe to one of these magazines, and every time there's a new issue, it'll just pop up on your Libby app that it's ready. And you can just read the whole magazine on your phone or on your iPad and save some money with that. So you can also, if you don't have the Libby app, you can look at those on chester.overdrive.com. So just some 3 exciting new services, some great statistics for this township. Please feel free to contact with any questions, or if you need help using any of these resources, either to contact the reference department at Exton or up at the Henrietta Hinken branch.
That's great. Thank you. I wasn't aware of a lot of the things that you could, borrow. And one thing that our clean energy team wanted to do was to have a thermal camera. And but we just never could figure out how we would manage that, and we never did buy it. But if we were able to do that and bring it to you, I guess maybe that's something we could try to get added.
Yeah, definitely let us
Talk to
know.
them about that some more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Jen at all? No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do offer public comment now for agenda items, and just to make sure everyone's clear that, that is, if you don't have it in front of you, you can ask questions about anything from our monthly reports, which we just talked about, our meeting minutes from September 2nd, special fire police appointment that we're about to make, public hearing, which you'll get a chance in the middle of the public hearing to ask on that. So don't need to do that now. Hollow Road right away dedication, 1414 Birch Run planning module, and combination authorizations, bid awards, and minimum municipal obligations and payroll and expenditures. Those are all the items that would be for commenting right now, and you can ask about as many of those as you'd like. So if anyone has any questions, looks like John wants to lead us off.
Good old treasurer's report comments.
John, what is your name?
John Elephant,
Thank you.
1634 Hilltop Road. So the treasurer's report, which for the month of general fund made $150,000. They have an income, $1,000,001 for the year in the general fund. The budget's like 25,000 income. For all funds, there was $166,000 for the month. And year to date in all funds, it's 1.6 million of income. Other things I noticed is this month, they closed the sewer fund and the RPA fund, the COVID fund were both closed. When you mentioned the audit, in the audit, they don't acknowledge the Citadel fund. It combines it with the general fund, and it makes a problem that you say, well, I want to see how this compares to what we make in presentations and all that. They don't compare because the Citadel fund is in the general fund in the audit.
Citadel in 2024, did we?
No, we had it.
And we still have-
But it was
It's just started,
around $30,000 at its maximum.
just started.
And then another thing I want to talk about is the police budget. We spent $1.3 million so far. It's 65% of 45% of the funding. Sorry, 45% of the funds in the general fund are in the police department. Plus, there's $66,000 somewhere else. It just seems like it's quite a big expense. We get these reports, and we may or may not have any arrests. It's just traffic stops for the month. It just seems out of proportion to what we're doing. That's all.
John, up.
Thank you, John. Does anyone else have any comments or questions about the agenda items?
I'm not sure if this is the right time to say it or at the end, but it has to do with the dedication of Hollow Road and the kind of condemnation.
Yeah, it would definitely be now, but can you please give us your name and address?
Megan Corkum, 32 Buttonwood Lane. This is long, so I hope you guys can kind of just bear with me. And I have to read off my phone, sorry. My name is Megan Corkum. I have lived on Buttonwood Lane for 12 years and grown up there for the past 23. I run Plainbrook Farm, which is located at the center of the original property. For the past couple of months, everything pertaining to our business and farm has been nothing short of difficult. I have watched meetings where neighbors have gotten up and spoken on our business, as well as strangers who I have never met. Instead of continuing to watch from the sidelines, I'd like a few minutes to speak. I'd like to start off by speaking on the bridge. First and foremost, I would like it stated that we were not notified about this agenda item. While my grandfather is the listed owner, he is not who the township or Mr. Ryan has dealt with in these matters. A letter was sent to my grandfather, who is 90 years old and lives in California and has nothing to do with the farm, but not to me nor my mother, who this affects directly and are listed on the trust that is mentioned in this agreement. It is our land and property you are planning to take, originally offering the price of $1 in exchange for the land, which is not how this is supposed to be handled. Eminent domain is supposed to be for farm fair market value, or legally the terminology is called estimated just compensation. I am confused as to why you chose to start this conversation with this insulting offer. To be clear, I want this bridge to be built and safe for not only me, but all my neighbors who use this bridge daily. What I do not want is for us to be further disrespected and taken advantage of. Our pasture being taken for the construction of the bridge is going to further impact our business, which has already taken a massive hit. That pasture is rented out privately until we are able to finish the projects we are planning to. We don't have elsewhere to put those horses. We have other options where equipment can be parked and stored if needed. Since waiting down there with my son for the bus, I have seen what horrendous and unsafe conditions it is actually in daily. It is terrifying to haul horses back and forth over that, constantly terrified of the possibility of it giving in. That cause for worry is more than justified, as a neighbor had to give out on him going over it 4 years ago. When I asked Mr. Ryan last week to give me a few minutes of his time to explain this all to me, he said he couldn't, as I am not a listed owner. To reiterate, I am actually a part of the living trust for the property that is listed under, and therefore I am a part owner. I am also the person who runs the day-to-day operations of the property. All I asked was for an informal discussion or overview of the plan so that when I got up here to speak, I would have some facts. For some reason, he would not do that without my mother or the town solicitor present. We have been in the process for several years of trying to fix up the property, fixing flooding issues, replacing fencing, and not only increasing the appearance of the property, but the value of the neighboring homes. The building material needed to permit to get over the bridge, which we were not granted. We proposed bringing material over in smaller truckloads that we were under the posted weight limit, to which the answer was also no due to the fact that the bridge was unstable and could not hold that weight. The contractor came up with numerous options, all of which were met with no. I was also told that even if we decreased the weight of the truck to fall under the posted weight limit of the bridge, that we would not be allowed, as it would increase the amount of vehicles going over the bridge, therefore denying us. I asked where can a limitation like this be imposed, and do not know of any statute stating this imposition. I also asked Mr. Ryan what we were to do if there were an emergency in which a fire engine or larger vehicle were needed, as a fire engine is over the posted weight limit, or more disturbingly, cause the bridge to collapse in an emergency situation due to the vehicle being over the posted weight. The answer I received was, we are aware of the issue and will deal with it in the moment. I don't know about you, but that is an extremely unnerving answer to get from a township official. I take no comfort in the fact that if something were to happen, chances are we would not be able to be helped, or at the very least, it would be delayed due to them handling it in the moment. There is, however, another point of access to the property that is not utilized. It is unclear to me why that road that leads out to Sheeter Road is not usable for one, emergency purposes, or two, as an option for a combination. To me, a simpler solution would be use eminent domain on a road versus building a whole new bridge. I would also like to state this. As a resident of this township, I do not feel safe and do not feel supported. Over the last couple of months, I have begged and pleaded for help from the township in regards to a neighbor and the continued harassment which myself, family, and business have suffered. A few months back, this neighbor, who used to be considered a friend, gave us a letter stating the demands he wanted placed on the property. After watching hours of township meeting footage, it turns out he has been at this since at least November of 2023. He got up here and badmouthed my business, making it sound like our business is a low-life trash haven. However, it is instead a safe place for kids to interact and grow up with nature, all while creating revenue for the township. I watched him get up here multiple times demanding a change of how we've been running things for 23 years, to which the board told him that we weren't actually in violation of anything. But he was relentless to the point that we did find we did need to get some conditional uses changed, which we are in the process of. However, because we did as told by the township, we did not have camps or shows this summer, and because of this, a massive chunk of income has been lost, one that we depend on deeply. In that time period of us complying with what we were supposed to, I continued to suffer harassment from said neighbor for months. He continued to make reports about anything he found offensive, whether it be our sign at the end of the road, cars parked along the lane taking care of the horses. He took pictures of my property, some of which young girls were present in, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. I had the police show up at my home at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon for playing music on our outdoor speakers while sitting outside with my children. He took pictures into my yard of my children, which resulted in the biggest, most egregious attack when CPS was called on me for reported child neglect, and then 2 weeks later showed up at my door traumatizing me and my children. All because a neighbor has a vendetta against our business. I have reported every incident and it is documented. It is very unclear to me why a human can continue in this manner with no repercussions while me, my family, and my business continue to suffer. It is not lost on me that this individual was involved with township boards, and since then, everything pertaining to our business has been met with roadblocks and challenges. In this township, there is a major emphasis on preserving and saving open land. Open land is traditionally owned and used by farms. I feel as though our farm is not being respected as such. Buttonwood Lane at its core is a working farm and has been for centuries. We are just out here trying to survive and keep it as such. Farms and businesses pertaining to farms are a labor of love in a dying industry. There is no chance for survival if we continue to be met with such disdain and roadblocks. What I'm expecting is more action from the township working with farm owners to prevent harassment by neighbors to ultimately preserve the open space the township claims to care about. If action is not taken, farms will start selling their land due to the inability to make a sufficient income and the distress that arises from their action. Thank you. Just stand up here.
Thank you. That was difficult.
Anybody else?
Anyone else has any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on. We need a motion to approve the September 2nd meeting minutes.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Motion to approve the monthly reports.
So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
And then we do have a Nathaniel Mora. Are you here? Want to come on up? We want to swear you in.
Hello. Nathaniel Maurer, 111 Shadeland, here for a special, fireplace, appointment.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to swear you in now. Nathaniel Harris Moore of Upper Euclid, Chester County, Pennsylvania. Do you affirm that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States?
I do.
And I'm just gonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll let you do that in a bit.
Repeat after her.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I've never done this
Okay.
before. Okay, so how would we say I, Nathaniel Harris Moore,
Support the United States Constitution.
Well,
and
why don't we do it carefully? So
Yes,
it's-
yes.
here,
As in-
I'll read it to you. So you could state your name.
I, Nathaniel Maurer,
Of Upper Euclid, Chester County, Pennsylvania,
of Upper Newton, Chester County, Pennsylvania,
do affirm that I will support,
do affirm that I support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of Special Fire Police
of Special Fire Police
in and for West Vincent Township,
in and for West Vincent Township,
Chester County, Pennsylvania,
Chester County, Pennsylvania,
with fidelity.
fidelity.
Thank you very much, and I'm sorry I made that harder than it should
No, I-
have
I-
been. Congratulations and thank you very
Congratulations.
much for your service.
I think it's fine.
Okay, do we have a clean copy for now?
Yeah.
Yes. it is.
You have,
Oh, you have
you
it?
sign it?
No, I didn't send it.
I probably have to sign it too. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming tonight. We need to move it too.
This, I'll take
We'll
it.
sign it.
We'll take care of it later.
Thank you very much. So moving on to the public hearing.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're going to turn it over to David.
I think we have to make a motion to appoint.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to appoint Nathaniel Harris Moore. Am I saying that right? Maurer, sorry, to the position of Special Fire Police.
I'm gonna second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And I think we need to turn this over to you, Dave, for the public hearing.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Chair, tonight on the agenda is a public hearing that's required under the Cable Franchise Act. It's Federal Cable Act, Section 626. We did this a few months ago relative to Verizon, and now the Comcast franchise agreement is coming up for renewal. And as part of that renewal process, we're to have a public hearing, which will give anyone here the opportunity to make comments about Comcast if you like. So I have a statement to read and then we'll allow for comment. This is a public hearing regarding cable franchise renewal for West Vincent Township. The hearing is held pursuant to Section 626 of the Federal Cable Act, which sets forth the process for franchise renewal. Our current franchise agreement with Comcast is expiring soon, and we have begun the process of negotiating a new franchise agreement. This public hearing is an important part of the franchise negotiations in which the township seeks public comment on Comcast's past performance and our community's future cable-related community needs. The purpose of this hearing is to hear from the citizens regarding the following: one, the past performance of the cable operator, and two, the township's future cable-related needs. Franchise renewal is the best opportunity for municipalities to assert their rights with respect to their cable operator and to obtain important benefits in return for granting the cable operator the right to use its public rights of way. These benefits include, but are not limited to, the following: one, strong and enforceable cable service standards; two, a state-of-the-art cable system; three, protections of the public rights of way; four, franchise fees for the cable operator's use of the public rights of way and improved franchise fee accountability; five, reporting requirements on the cable operator; six, legal protections for the township; and seven, better mechanisms to enforce the franchise agreement. These are just some of the potential benefits available through the franchise renewal. Citizens may address these items or any other cable-related items that are important to them. We'll now open up this hearing for anyone now who has any comments relative to Comcast cable renewal. Just come up, state your name and your address. If you have any comments, we can proceed forward. Anyone? Okay. I see none. And with that, I recommend we close the hearing. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to the agenda here. We have resolution 14/2025, Hollow Road right-of-way dedication. Tommy, is that something that you can explain a little bit better?
Sure. In 1978, as part of a subdivision for this property at the intersection of Buttonwood and Hollow, a dedication of land was made to the township. Approximately I think a tenth of an acre or so was dedicated to the township, offered for dedication to the township at that time. And the township would like now to exercise its ability to accept the offer of dedication that was made in 1978.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 14/2025 to accept designation of the right of way at Hollow Road.
Second.
Comment on that at all? And I just want to ask, just based on what Megan had to say, how that plays into the field at all. I mean, obviously we need to do it. We have
Well,
no choice.
These are two, well, there are two different things. Second item. This has to do with a long Hollow Road.
Right.
Strip along Hollow Road near where the new bridge will be.
So this is nothing to do with the horse stable. So
Right.
I just don't know their field very well, but
Right.
okay, well, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I'm very happy to see the bridge completed. We also have a resolution for the 1414 Birch Run Planning Module.
The board will recall approval of a minor subdivision was granted a few months back. The applicant is proceeding with the entitlement process, has submitted a planning module that has been reviewed, recommended for approval by the Chester County Health Department, Chester County Planning Commission, and the West Vincent Township Planning Commission. The module is now before the board for final approval prior to submission to DEP.
I'd like a motion to approve resolution 15/2025 to approve a planning module as to the installation of an on-lot septic system at Bertram Road, 1414 Bertram Road.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we also have one on condemnation, which
Right.
again,
Okay.
explain that one, Dave.
Yeah, so in concert with the construction of the new bridge The new bridge will construct it alongside the existing bridge so they can keep the existing bridge open until the new bridge is constructed. Engineers have prepared a plan, and in order to do that, the engineers will need for the bridge room permanently where the new bridge is going to go. That would be what we call required right of way. And in addition to that, because of the area needed for equipment and storage of materials in the area, there is a need for what we call a temporary construction easement, which will be an area of the property that the contractor will need to use in order to get in there and do the work, use it temporarily, and then when the construction is complete, restore it back to the way it was. And so in order to proceed, what we're proposing is for the board to take action so we can get the timeline started on this process. Doesn't mean we can't come to a resolution with the property owner in the meantime, but what I like to do is recommend we take the formal actions that need to be done in order to we get down the line with regard to this. It may not be necessary that we condemn. It may be possible that we work it out with the property owner. But in the meantime, I'm recommending to the board to take these technical actions. So the first thing tonight would be the board to authorize me to prepare and advertise the condemnation ordinance. The board has adopted an ordinance that specifically lays out what area is being condemned and what for. So I'm asking you to take that step tonight, authorizing me to prepare and advertise, and I believe we're going to do it at for consideration at the October meeting, okay? So it's a formality to proceed forward. That's all we're doing tonight. It's authorizing me to prepare the ordinance.
This isn't actually advertising, it's just.
You're authorizing me to prepare and advertising or Tommy to advertise it.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the township solicitor to begin condemnation proceedings for the right of way and a temporary construction easement at Buttonwood Drive.
I'll second that.
I'm just gonna ask if anyone has a question on this. Since it is complicated and there's some concerns.
So we'll have it.
Give you a minute.
How big of a piece are you taking?
1/10 of an acre, right of way.
Ten?
The right of way is
Oh, the proposed
about
line.
1/10 of an acre, and the temporary construction easement is a little bigger,
A little bit
but
bigger.
that's temporary. It goes away when the project's
So
complete.
the condemnation will be about a 10th of an acre? And that is
Of right of way.
A permanent right of way.
And that's on the Hollow Road side, or is that?
No, it's on
That's, okay, so you accepted a dedication of something that was already offered
Right.
in 78, and then this is a combination on the other side of it?
Well, it's so it's perpendicular. So
Okay.
Hollow Road section is the strip
Right.
along Hollow Road.
Right.
Now the bridge is perpendicular to
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
And this area will be parallel with the
Parallel to the
existing
existing
bridge.
bridge.
Right.
Okay,
I believe
Where the-
it's on the website too, isn't that? Sarah?
yeah, there's a drawing there, but
It's hard to
that's fine,
understand.
I didn't see a
Yeah.
measurement, I was
Yeah.
curious.
Okay, I just want to make sure we
Thank
gave
you.
everybody an opportunity since there's concern about it. Thank you.
Good evening. You mentioned the,
Your name, please?
did you need that gentleman's name as well?
That's-
Announce his name.
Yeah, we did.
We did. We all do know him.
We know it
It's
is.
fine.
Go ahead.
Salvatore Petrona, 183 Wingate Drive. You mentioned some environmental, or that there were several, or maybe the engineering plan. Were there alternatives to the engineering plan presented that you have considered? I believe that's a question for Mr. Ryan.
I'm sorry.
You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
The question is, you mentioned the engineer. Were there alternatives to the engineering plan that you just approved?
Well, we didn't approve an engineering plan. The plan has been under design for several months. I think it's approaching 2 years now. I started this position in March of this year. The plan was in the form it was at the time I arrived. So I can't speak to alternates that might have been considered
Okay, so
in the months before my run.
okay, so the answer is no.
No,
No, that's
The
not
answer
good.
is, I don't know, because I wasn't here.
and
Jim,
the answer is, I was here as the interim manager prior to that, and the answer is yes, alternatives were considered.
Okay, so regarding the condemnation, were there alternatives to that as part of the plan?
I don't understand your question.
I don't
The
understand.
question is, the plan that was approved, there's a condemnation, which you just mentioned, correct? My question is, with the alternative plans for engineering, were there alternatives to the condemnation?
Well, let me answer that. The condemnation plan is prepared with respect to the particular new bridge that's being proposed,
Correct.
specific to that.
Understood. So I think the question that I'm asking is, were these alternative plans that were presented by the engineers, were there alternatives to condemning the land?
The answer to that is at least one of the alternatives that was considered would have required a much more massive condemnation of land in order to put a new bridge in.
Understood. And as part of the engineering plan, there's the stream, the environmental concerns that I assume those were all considered and are documented.
And are addressed in the engineering plan, yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been very difficult trying to get this taken care of, so I'm glad we're making some progress. And I think, can you take a motion on that?
Yes.
Yes, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion for a bid award.
I make a motion to approve the award of a bid for certain equipment rentals and labor to DNL Fleck Inc. of Kimmerton, PA, the lowest responsive and reasonable bidder for and at those rates enumerated on the schedule of equipment and labor.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We also need a motion for the minimum municipal obligation.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026 minimal municipal obligation for the defined benefit pension plan at $128,186, and the 2026 minimum municipal obligation for the defined contribution pensions at $54,313.
And I'll second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we have an expenditure approval and ratification. So I'll read this one for you. I'll give you a break.
Thank you.
A motion to ratify payroll dated August 27 for the pay period August 11 to August 24 in the amount of $67,988.39. Payroll dated September 10 for pay period August 25 to September 7 in the amount of $69,041.98. General fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $136,184.90. Open space fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $41,198.20. Capital Road Fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $5,092. Capital Project Fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $12,486.73. Capital Equipment Fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $63.38. Escrow Fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $59,064.38. And Citadel Fund list of bills dated August 19 to September 15 in the amount of $100.40.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills as stated.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're approved. Anyone has public comment, and this would be on non-agenda items. So anything else that you'd like to bring up? Come on up. Louise first.
Hi there. Oh, am I on?
No, you can speak up though.
Hi,
You're
Julie
loud
Brandell.
enough.
Question, what's going on with the Fellowship Trail?
Good question. Do we have a better answer for that?
I spoke with the project engineer today. They are waiting some information from the contractor, but the contractor did provide us with the timeline to complete the trail when that information is received and the materials, which are on back order, have been received. And we're still hopeful that all the work gets done by the end of November.
How much, how much have they been paid? Like, what have they done? and how much have they paid?
$172,000.
900?
170.
100, I was like,
They've only been paid for the work that the engineer has certified has been completed to our satisfaction.
That's about a quarter or so, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay,
And it's aluminum has been the product that's been,
oh, for the bridge.
that's been the problem.
So they can't move forward and pave the rest of it or do what they were gonna do with the rest of it?
They could
until-
pave the rest of it, but if you're installing the bridges, you're gonna damage the paving. So the paving has to be the last thing done
Got it. So end of November, we're looking at this point in time,
by the end of November.
by the end of November, okay.
By the way, I don't know if anybody noticed, but they started at Opalani.
Yes.
Exciting too.
Craig Rakoska, 1684 Cedar Mill Road. A couple questions about the special fire police appointment. I'm wondering, the job description, it's a paid position. How did this come about that we needed a fire police guy now in the township?
It's not a township employee. It's not a township volunteer. They're under the command of the fire company. And maybe the chief can provide some additional information on what the fire police do.
So what would
What is it
his
about?
duties be?
Do you want to explain that, Jeff? Thank you very much.
So the duties of a special fire police officer in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania under a second-class township, the municipality that hosts the fire company is required to actually appoint the fire police officers, and what their job to do is their job is to control traffic at a scene of an emergency. Their job is to control crowd control at any type of a fire situation. And so by being appointed by the municipality, it gives them the legal right to perform their duty while on the street.
Mostly traffic duties, is that what you're saying?
Yes, traffic actions they would be the ones that would shut the road down if there's a highway accident, if there's a building fire, and there's a bunch of spectators around. They would be tasked with making sure that those spectators are controlled and not in a defined area. Yeah. And again, just like volunteer firefighters, they're volunteers as well. They just have to be appointed to the municipality.
Thank you. We appreciate the interest. I do that for.
Hi, my name is Vic Machis. I'm a member of Plainfield Farm. I'm also an 18-year veteran of the Cheshire County Police Department. I actually just want direction from live. So in the past, I know Megan had, and this isn't part of an agenda item, had asked about bringing supplies over the bridge at a lower weight, which is under the restriction that's on the bridge. Per Title 75, 4902B, that is the restrictions imposed on weight restrictions on bridge. There is no restriction on volume of vehicles to go over that bridge. I just want direction from you guys, because as a police officer, I get asked friends all the time, hey, I have this question. I gave them direction, and unless I don't know something that's particular to your knowledge, is there anything restricting them to moving forward with their project of beautifying their property with staying under the weight restrictions of the vehicles going over that bridge?
Not aware of it.
So we received 3 requests to carry stone over the bridge. And each time I asked the property owner to provide information, and each time the property owner did provide information. The first request involved a vehicle that was too wide, a vehicle that when loaded was too heavy. And that information went to the traffic engineer. And I asked the traffic engineer, should this be permitted? And the answer was immediately no. It's too wide and too heavy. The second option was to install a conveyor belt type rock sling that would require the road to be closed for certain periods. I don't have to ask the traffic engineer about that. That's just a conversation I had with the chief of police. We do not close that road because there's no other access. So that was denied. The last request was to store the stone at private property on the non-Buttonwood side of the waterway, and then to make 210 trips with trucks loaded with stone over the bridge. That went to the traffic engineer as well, and the traffic engineer would say, I have very big concerns with that.
So what I'm asking is, I hear concerns, okay? Per the state statute, there is no restriction impeding the flow of traffic over a bridge if it falls under the tonnage. So what I'm asking is, are they, regardless of where they store their stone, as long as they are saying within the guidelines, the vehicles are an hour, can they continue with their project and go in line with the process that they've been trying to do for the past, I don't even know how long, probably over a year? Is that okay? Because in my mind, the way I look at it, it is not against the law. There is no additional restrictions put on that bridge for volume of vehicles going over it. So I would say, yes, you can move forward with your project as long as you're staying within the guidelines.
My answer is not changing. The answer is no, for public safety reasons. It's too risky. And if you're gonna say you're gonna rely on what state law might allow you to do technically and put everybody's health, safety, and welfare at risk, that's you, that's not me.
Is there any way to come up with a resolution to try and fix this either through, so if you're saying that that bridge is incapable of basically vehicular traffic?
Not what he said.
Well,
It's not what he
he's
said.
saying it's 200 trips, when it's staying within the guidelines, it's not going overweight, but it's not safe for 200 trips. There are other easements. Is there any way that they can utilize easements that have been established in deeds to deliver the stone, not going over a bridge, so they can continue the project?
I don't know of any other easements.
There's an easement that goes off of, I believe, Sheeter Road, going off of Sheeter Road.
No,
No.
there is,
We would like to.
there is not an easement.
We're not familiar with one.
Okay, is there any way that they can come up with a
If-
plan?
I've told the property owner, if you have other options, let me know, and I'll review those as well. But if you think this must be done now, and my understanding, speaking with French and Pickering and with the Conservation District, this is work that they had asked you to do several years ago. And it was delayed, and it was delayed, and it was delayed.
So that's not knowledge that I'm aware of.
Okay. And the Conservation District and French and Pickering are fine with the delay. They understand the public safety issue here. Okay. But if you wanted to go out and speak to some of the neighbors and ask the neighbors, specifically those folks at the cul-de-sac with the properties that are separated from the neighboring road, if they could grant you the ability to carry things in and out across their side yards, that's fine. We wouldn't have a problem with that.
The only thing I'm asking is, was there never an easement established when there was only one bridge going into the community?
No, not to my knowledge.
We haven't been able to find that.
Yeah, but okay. I know that there was allegedly one at the end and then one that goes to the Sheeter Road. I'm just trying to help them speed along, especially with the grant and everything that is moving on. They're stopped. And when they ask me for direction, I can only go off of what I know as far as state statute. I'm just trying to figure out how they can go and help the business and also help the community.
Mhm.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Do you know what the load is on that bridge now? I think it keeps dropping, right? Yeah. Thank you.
My name is Chris Sarasoli. I live in Buttonwood. I can answer the question about the so-called easement that people think exists. It really doesn't. The person at the end of the cul-de-sac, at the time, I think it was Gary Nielsen, he owned 15 acres. He also owned 5 acres on Sheeter. Buttonwood was a private road at the time. So all the landowners on Buttonwood had to pay for the maintenance, snow plowing, paving, and there was also talk about replacing the bridge since it was a private road. Gary Nielsen decided he didn't want to pay for anything. There was always a question about how to divvy up the expenses on the private road. There was no implicit plan put in place about how the maintenance costs were handled. So Gary Nielsen, having owned property on Sheeter and Buttonwood, said, well, you know, kind of screw you guys. I'm just going to go out to Sheeter and I'm not paying for anything. So that's how the so-called easement was his personal way to get out. We were building a house and had a lot of trouble getting materials over the bridge. And my husband asked him, he needed one truckload of something. He asked Gary, can I just use your easement? And the answer was no. So that is the story with the so-called easement. It was just something he personally did. Whether it was legal or not, I have no idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm James Corkum, 32 Buttonwood Lane. I just wanted to ask, and so I guess that easement, that non-easement that Chris just spoke of has been a rumor that clearly is not one that's accessible. But what does happen if there's an emergency and the bridge that's there right now is out? Then what happens? Where does emergency help come from in that event?
Well, that's an extreme circumstance, so we'd have to see.
Before.
What's that?
It happened
Happened
before
before.
the bridge going.
Right, but it did, I mean,
Yeah.
Denny went right into it when it collapsed and fell out. So, you know, luckily there were no emergencies other than, but if somebody else at that time had an emergency, what would be the solution?
Well, I would think the thing would be is what kind of emergency repairs could be undertaken to make it passable. Would be the first thing the township would have to look at, using their township engineers, bridge engineers to figure out the condition it's in and whether or not there's a way to shore it up to make sure traffic can pass over it safely. That would be first thing they'd have to do.
Right, what I'm asking is, I understand that like last time when the bridge washed out, it was fixed pretty quickly. I mean, we were stuck there for, I think, not more than maybe 24 hours. Impressive how quickly it went. But if there was an emergency where there was no access at that time, what happens then? You know, what if there was a fire or a medical emergency on our street at that time?
That's a real concern. That's why the township's moving forward and trying to get a new bridge built as quickly as they can. And luckily, the funding came through to allow them to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was told that you're putting in another easement. That goes from Buttonwood to Sheeter for emergency vehicles only.
Not presently, no.
No,
No.
okay, I mean. From what I understand though, with the circumstance with the cul-de-sac, that there really should be another easement. So what happens when the new bridge goes out? Or something happens to the new bridge? Then everybody's stuck.
Well, it's certainly something for the township to consider, and the township has considered it. It's not taking any steps right now in order to effect a new easement, which would be substantial expense and would require cooperation of two landowners. So.
I was told that they were both happening at the same time.
No,
Back in the spring.
that's not true.
Anyone else on the floor?
I just have one last question. Is it a requirement in the state of Pennsylvania to have an easement if a property is landlocked?
Well.
If it's only accessible by one bridge, is it a requirement? And is that just
No.
something that we don't know, or?
No. As long as there's access, there's no requirement.
but there is no access. I'm saying, so in your
What if-
statement.
What if there's no bridge?
If there's no bridge, isn't it a requirement for another easement onto the property? Because I mean, I understand what you're saying, God forbid, if something did take place, and the residents have, they voiced their concerns over this. And as James and Megan had said, the bridge did go out one time. And if there was a fire at a house, God forbid, the black cloud landed over that address, and that took place, your response was, we would have bridge engineers come out and see how we could shore it up and get it on. Fires spread fast. We have fire department here. They can tell you that houses can go up like this. How are we
Well
gonna
aware
get
of
a
that.
bridge engineer to come out and shore it up?
Well. So you're speaking hypothetically.
Speaking of
Theoretically,
hypothetically, but
The
also,
township's well aware of those potential circumstances. And the township is moving as quickly as it can, get the new bridge built.
the new bridge built, I understand
I
that,
understand that.
but in the meantime, are you guys also looking at maybe putting easements in?
Well, putting easements in is an easy thing to say, but. a
It
hard-
is, and I
many-
understand that,
Many
trying to get it
cases,
from
a
an owner.
hard
I
and
understand that.
expensive thing to do.
It
And
is,
right now, the township's chosen to use its resources to getting the new bridge built.
so they're kind of on their own if.
Nobody's on their own. No,
Well, I'm
your
just saying,
words,
hypothetically, if something happens.
it's your words, no one's on their own.
That's why I'm trying to keep heavy trucks off of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Thank you. Wrap it up.
Thank you. I think, we've exhausted that topic for the moment. Anyone else or? Seeing none? Okay, I think I would just like to announce that next meeting is going to be October 6th at 7 PM here at the Township Building. And, would you like to?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I think they want to say.